Morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Hello, good afternoon and good evening. Oh dear.
I
So
can't see myself. I can see you. Is that how it's meant to work?
you can't see yourself?
Yeah, normally, wait a minute, let me just have a look.
You can probably see my slides, can you?
I can see your slide. I can see your slides and you. That's probably why.
Hi Jacqueline, how you doing? Nice to see you. And Ian's here as well somewhere. It's a bit blurry or not quite sure what's going on there. And Mia, lovely to have you here today.
Thank you.
We have quite a few sign-ups, so I'll just give it a few more minutes. Are you having a nice time with your mum, Jacqueline? Your dad, sorry.
Yes, lovely, thank you. We've been sat outside having a cup of coffee in the sunshine. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Good, good. What's the weather like where you are? Because it's been so mixed here. It's like
Yeah, it's been mixed, but it's been dry. So today the sun shines out. So we went out to the garden centre yesterday and bought some bits and pieces. So we'll do a bit of pottering this afternoon in the garden. He's a little bit shaky, so I'm sort of worried about him doing too much. But 98, he's amazing. So
wow, that's
he's
incredible.
pretty amazing. So
Oh, fantastic. Good. What's it like where you are, Mia?
It's okay. It's going to be warmer. It's just cloudy at the moment, but it is very nice here. Just a bit disturbed by some workmen doing a lot of work around by us. There's all the councils have got loads of budgets for roadworks right now, so it's an absolute nightmare around here. And we're going to be pretty much blocked off in the evenings coming up soon for about 6 weeks.
Ah, okay.
Because we're down a cul-de-sac. But there we go. It's fun.
Well, lucky you having your roads fixed. Gloucestershire is one of the worst counties in the country, apparently. And yeah, I was going down a road the other day and somebody had put a sign, "Fix our roads," which made me laugh because you pay all this money out, don't you, on like road tax and all these other things, and then you're going over potholes and thinking, oh my goodness, that's not doing the tires any good. Anyway, these are first world problems, right? Looks like Ian's popped off, so hopefully he'll come back. Now, interestingly, this is a bit of a curveball because I do talk about tech, but I've just sort of slotted this topic in because it's something that I recognise I talk about a lot, and it's where I meet a lot of people who are struggling. So I thought there might be more people turning up live, but never mind. Hopefully, they'll catch up, and I've also streamed it on YouTube today. Here's Ian again, he's back.
The email I got earlier, which said book, that link didn't go anywhere. So I don't know if people have had an issue block out because I've been bad. I didn't catch it earlier, but the one that came out at 11 o'clock,
yeah,
it says book your seat, doesn't go anywhere, doesn't click.
The email at
11:05 it came.
Didn't click through. But the one just 5 minutes ago did.
That one says that one said it's no, the one at 11:51 that comes out, join us now, that one worked. Join us now soon. So I don't.
Well, so they've had that one then at least. So okay, I'll get him to. Oh, that's not good, is it? I'll just get him to check that. Okay, brilliant. All right. Okay. Well, I'll start. I'm just saying hi to Ian. I can't see you or hear you. I hope you're not having tech problems. How ironic.
As if I am.
You are having.
That view you're seeing is from my USB camera I use for the ears, and I can't get that. I can't get rid of that image at the moment. So you'll certainly see my mush pop up there, but in the meantime, I can hear you at least.
Oh, okay. Well, can you see the screen at least? And the slide?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right then. So let's crack on then. So it's lovely to have you all here. For the sake of the recording, I'll just kind of summarise what we're talking about today. So tech and website frustrations and the big learning curve that many businesses go on when they set up their websites and their tech, and how that can sometimes pan out. This event today is a extension of my free community on Facebook, which is called Be Simply Visible. If you're not part of that, then the link will be dropped in the chat. And today I want to share what I see a lot of, but also I want you to share what your experiences are, and what's potentially keeping you stuck, to see if I can help. And a little bit about me. I guess one of the things that compelled me to change my business from just agency was the fact that so many people were struggling with things like what we're going to talk about today. And it's really hard when you can see people in pain and you're looking and thinking, I know exactly what you're doing wrong and I can actually help you. And so I had this compelling need that I had to do more about it, to be able to, help fix and just help people. Oh, Ian, you're coming into focus. There. Hey. So what this allowed me to do was to take my 20 years of digital marketing experience and turn it into a different business model where I could not only work one-to-one with clients, but also not get burnt out myself, because that's one of the problems when you're running a business the traditional way of doing the doing, etc. But also I now have a way of being able to support ongoing, where it's accessible, but it's also affordable, and that makes me happy. So website and tech, weirdly, these are things that I actually love unraveling. Often you need a fresh pair of eyes when you're too close to something, and it's almost like you've got these ideas in your head and you can't consolidate them, because you probably technically could do some of it yourself, but you can't see the wood for the trees. And I guess that's where I come in, is that I can help sort of guide with that. And I guess because I'm technical and I'm creative as well, that also sort of goes in my favour, really. Anyway, enough about me. Let's look at some of the common frustrations. And there's a lot there. But some of the common frustrations that I see, which is holding a lot of businesses back. So things like not being able to access or edit their website. If you have gone down the DIY website route, then sometimes the costs can sort of tip over where it's not affordable anymore. It starts off in an affordable way, but adding more and more features, and then before you know it, it's like, actually, this is costing me quite a bit of money. Things like, issues with website performance, whether that's rankings, search engine rankings. I mean, often that's not even happening for many websites. There's certainly no tools set up to be able to analyze and track what's going on. There could be security vulnerabilities. There's so many possible frustrations and issues, and this is where I feel so sorry for businesses, because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what the next thing is. So after you've had a website put together, it's like, okay, now what? Like, it's not a one and done thing, but the expectation kind of is that it's a one and done thing, and that you can then just get on with your life and start making money and start having the phone ring, etc., etc. So they're a lot of the frustrations that I see. I guess I'm interested to know if there's anything that extra that I haven't covered there that you feel is a frustration that holds you back. I might have covered it quite succinctly, but does anybody want to share?
I think for me, the biggest thing was that my sort of developer never gave me sort of any guidance to, using something like, Monster Insights or Yoast for SEO, and just made it so difficult for me to go in and do anything. And any time I said to him, oh, I just want to go in and change that, oh, well, it was, you know. And I guess, as you said, I think what your words were, you only know what you know. I knew I needed a website, but I actually didn't know what I needed it to do. And it's as you go on, I realize that wasn't fit for purpose. I didn't have things in there to help me measure anything. So yeah, that was the frustration with the web person that I had. They built me something, but it basically doesn't do anything. And they never gave me guidance. So
no. And was that because I thought you said you'd gone down the DIY route.
My first website was a GoDaddy.
Okay, got it.
I got tied into them. I managed to escape their clutches, and then I had somebody design a new one for me. But I've stepped away from them now, and it's not with anybody support in any way now, which is because I couldn't do anything with it, and
yeah. Oh, so you've kind of been bitten twice in a way, because you then trusted a professional, and then they didn't give you. And I think that is a lot of what I see, is that you trust and you put your faith in this web person, but they're not necessarily a digital marketing person. They don't know the whole process, and so they're kind of just doing a small bit, asking you for that's another one, asking you for your content, asking you to write about your, I was speaking to a lady the other day, and she said, I had to write all my text, and she said, I didn't even have anybody kind of go through it with me or give me feedback, or it was really quite lonely. And it's that's hard for someone like me to hear, because it shouldn't be like that. But that's the difference with a web designer and somebody that kind of oversees the whole thing. Any other shares on frustrations?
How many would you like, Natalie?
Oh, shall I go to Mia and then I'll come to you, Ian?
Yeah, by all means.
I have a few. So I had my first person that did my website, one website, they didn't protect it properly, so the actual domain got hacked and taken over, and because I had it in my own name, they then turned it into a porn site.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then the second person that I thought was really good forgot to back it up, and so that then caused a problem for my website, because I lost my website basically. And I remember speaking to somebody, and like you were saying about somebody saying, can you just give me all the text for your site, and you think, well, I don't know where to start with this. I don't know how to go about this. All I can do is look at what other people have done and maybe sort of manipulate what they've done for my own means. And so because of all those different things, that's why I then ended up doing it myself, because at least I thought, at least I know I'm safer, at least I know where it is, and I know I can access it to make little changes, little changes, rather than it taking a week or 2 weeks. I mean, you want it done immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is what Jacqueline was saying about not being able to go in and make just those minor changes that are just a time orientated.
Yeah, and this lady I was talking to the other day saying that to make those changes are like £60 an hour, and I was like, but that's a lot of money, like that just doesn't make sense for a small business. So it's just going to put you off. You're just going to think, well, there's no point. I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it as it is. So what about you, Ian? You've got a few. I know a few of yours.
I mean, the irony, based upon what you were saying a few moments ago, I was recommended to go to someone by somebody who was well up in marketing. So you take their word as being well worth listening to. And well, some of the frustrations I've had, some whereby I had a website, it looked very pretty, but you couldn't do anything with it. And if you needed to do something with it, it was incredibly difficult to get them to do anything easily or straightforwardly. Fortunately, we are getting there now to sort it all out, as you well know.
Yes, yes, absolutely, we are.
I wouldn't bore the rest of them with all the frustrations because we could be here till tomorrow.
Well, I have actually included some of your experiences in a bit, so we'll come back to that. Okay, so I mean, I probably don't need to convince you of this. You know, you need a website for your online presence, for credibility, for potential customers to come and check you out, and without necessarily feeling like they have to take it's quite a good place to lurk and check a business out. But you also, you know, when your website is stabilized and your content is in a good place, then really it's all about the ongoing content. And that's where certainly the blogging and the fresh content, putting it out there, showcasing your authority and expertise and magnetically attracting people to your website. That's what ultimately it's all about, and what I see a lot of businesses need help with. But also you need to get this stuff sorted in the sense that the user experience is so important. You want them to take an action, to take a step. And again, sometimes that can be quite hard when you're too close to it, or maybe your lead magnet isn't quite performing as well as it could. And that is something I see a lot of, where people have almost sort of overcomplicated that first step, and their lead magnet is just not hitting the mark. So it's helping to kind of really figure out what that first little problem is that you could solve, that is going to get their email address, grow your email list, and nurture them through to hopefully working with you. But also it's holding people back. It's that thing about, well, it's the next point really, which is the main reason you need to get this fixed is so that you can focus on what you're good at, so you can focus on your specialism, so you can be delivering what it is you do and making money and letting your website do that heavy lifting for you, rather than firefighting these issues on your own, feeling so frustrated. And also, you know, feeling like perhaps maybe feeling stupid, like, am I missing something here? I'm not a stupid person. I'm running a business. Why am I not getting this? You know, it's very hard to see that happening when, you know, often, well, all the time, if you're clever enough to run a business, then you're clever enough to figure this stuff out. But it's, you know, you need help, I guess, is the point. So how do we get this sorted? Well, you know, it's identifying what the main urgent issues are. It's seeking help, but making sure you're getting the right help. And yes, like you said, Ian, how frustrating to be recommended by a marketing professional and then it to be such an unsavory experience. And that's disappointing is the word, I think, there. And also, you know, that thing about the regular maintenance and updates, being able to know what you're doing, being able to keep that content fresh, show Google that your business is very much open and active and seeking new clients. And then what you need to look for in a new provider, just things, you know, as I said, just bear in mind that web designers aren't necessarily marketers. Make sure that their knowledge is backed up. Knowledge is one thing, you know, applying that knowledge in a practical way is entirely another. And I think that's where sometimes people can go wrong, is that they go with a new provider, but actually they haven't really checked out whether they're able to do the fixing or even, you know, would know how to do it. Understanding the importance of reliability and security, you know, because like Mia's example, not only losing a domain name, but also losing your whole site. That is just not okay. That is, you know, you've spent time and money on that website. That is an asset. And that is, yeah, that is not okay. Being able to have communication, being able to, you know, talk to somebody, talk to a real person. That's something you said, Ian. You know, that was one of the things that you found so difficult, was that you just want to pick up the phone and speak to somebody sometimes. You don't want to be like in a queue. You don't want to feel like you're just a number. And that's certainly how they made you feel, Ian, which, you know, is not great. And I think it's a thing as well about enabling. You know, you've all said this, you want to go in and make changes. All these web developers will go, oh yeah, but you might mess it up. Well, you might mess it up, but you know what? That's how you learn. And actually, is it the end of the world if they have to go in and just reverse a couple of things? No, it doesn't take very long. So I don't think that's a good enough excuse, really, because, you know, take a, what's the analogy about teach a man to fish? And then, I can't remember it. Something like, anybody help me out here? Teach, something about, oh, I can't remember. I'll find it. Oh, you're on mute, Mia. Somebody Google it.
There's another one about, you talk about you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yes.
Yeah, along that sort of lines.
The teach a man to fish. Hang on. What is this saying?
Well, if you buy him a fish, he's got a meal. If you teach him how to fish, he can provide from
There you
fish.
go. That's it. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. So that's essentially what you know you need to be able to do. And the options, I guess, then is like going down a route of finding some kind of agency or some kind of expert that has the ability to help you with this stuff. Right, where am I going next? So, right, here's some examples then. Martin lost his domain names, and changes were made to his website that he didn't agree to. That was quite a dodgy one. All his domains were not in his control, and he found it just incredibly difficult to communicate with his web developer. Dawn was stuck with a clunky and limited all-in-one platform, was sold the dream. You know, these businesses have so much marketing budget that they're really good at convincing you that this is the solution that's going to solve all of your life's problems. And so she believed that and she signed up to it. And of course, the problem then is you're so embedded. And it had all these bells and whistles, most of them she didn't need. But then the features she did need, then it started to get very expensive. And this particular platform was also very unreliable and actually went down. And that took down websites, everything, you know. So that was, it was nice to get her back in control. Oh, sorry, I've gone too far. Ian, this is you controlling web developers who didn't enable or support you, even though you wanted it. You were asking for that help. You wanted to just get on the phone, and you'd put a support request in, and then you get this automated response saying that delay or whatever, and then you just jump. Yeah, you just don't feel important. That's what you said to me. You just didn't feel like you were important. Jess also, she moved away from a web developer who had a full-time job, so she could only speak to him in the evenings. And she wanted to do more of the doing, but couldn't, and he just kept sort of taking that away from her. Karina's web designer went rogue. He has come back again now, so that's good. But we were able to step in and make some changes for her, which she needed. And Ed, who kind of went down the classic route of, oh, it's okay, mate, I'll help you with that. I can do that for you. But then it's a bit frustrating when, you know, they've got a life, they've got kids, they're getting on with it, and you're kind of like, oh, can you do me a bit more work on my website? You know, sometimes it just doesn't pay. It doesn't pay off having free. You do need to find. So Dawn, this was Dawn's experience of, like, I had no idea how much I didn't know. I couldn't have imagined how much I've learned. It's boosted my confidence, not only for SEO and tech. She's found the experience that, you know, working with me has helped her to, you know, get all these things sorted, and be generating new business through her website. She particularly found my messaging and thought reversal stuff really helpful right at the very beginning. That's the bit that then set her website up for success, really, because she hadn't got that stuff figured out. And she's one of my star pupils, because she has taken what I've helped her with, and she has created stuff. She has tried stuff for herself. She's now blogging and getting her blogs rank immediately. And she's learning how to look at the analytics and go, ooh, okay, so that blog went right to the top. Why? And that they didn't stay on the blog for very long. That blog has taken a bit longer, but look at how long people are staying on that blog for. What does that tell me? So I'm getting her to think about the right questions to ask, so that she can then take that content and really, really make it work for her. And that's what I love about content marketing, is it's not just like a one and done thing. You can really use it to your advantage. Yeah, so that was just some sort of real feedback, really. So any other comments or questions or thoughts that you might have at this stage? Or anything that stood out for you that's been helpful?
I think for me, it comes back of actually the not knowing what I needed my website to be and do, and I think that's just, you know, when I was as a new business owner, and you are trying to do it at a cost price, so you think I can do this, and it's only as my business has grown that I have begun to understand what I'm missing out, what I needed, Google Analytics, SEO, all of that sort of thing. So how do you, for me, it's like, how do you get that across to new business owners? How do I have a client who needs a new website, right? Yeah. And she's trying to do one of these sort of, easy buy it done for you sort of things. And I think, I know that she's going to want this, and this, and it's trying to explain to her, don't cut the costs now, because, yes, I can go into this site and literally put some pictures and some words, but it's not going to do anything for her.
No.
So well, I think it's that.
Yeah, I think what I somebody coming in. What I realise is that often it's that not even thinking if this website is the solution. It's like, hang on a minute, where are you? What have you got? Hi, Selena. Have you got? Do you even need a website at this stage? Because I think that a quick conversation with me or a power hour with me would be better money spent than going down this route and this pain. And because I can kind of signpost and say, do you know what? And I said this to a lady, we did the workshop, the messaging workshop, and I was really honest with her. And I said, you've got a brilliant offer here, but the keywords, there's no point you spending the time on the SEO, because the keywords aren't going to perform for you. So I just saved her a lot of heartache and and I could have gone, oh, well, she doesn't need to know that. And I couldn't do that anyway, but she was really, it was quite funny, because the feedback I got was, well, actually, you helped me see that I don't need to spend any more money with you. But that's better, because then
she's already been burnt. She gave £500 deposit to this chap, and gave him the content, whatever, and then he just ran away, disappeared with it. So she's saying, oh, I just want a simple something. But I know it's not quite right for her. I need to try and persuade her to come and talk to you.
Yeah, just get her to come to one of the, or watch this. Get her, maybe I could share the recording with her, or you could share the recording with her, because she may not even need a website yet. A Google business profile might be enough for now. What she probably needs is somebody who can ask her or give her a little bit of direction on what she should be focusing on. But usually, from my experience, it's that messaging piece. And that messaging piece at the beginning, if I can get to people before they start making these mistakes, then often I can save them a lot of pain and heartache. And it might be that the outcome of that is you don't need a website yet. You know, you just need to put together something that you can go and test and sell. And once that's working, then, you know, but yeah, that's frustrating to hear, quite frankly. That really, really is. Have I answered that in the right way then? I think it's that, what's the goal of the website? What's she looking to achieve? Does she want somewhere just to show that she's in business, or does she want to have some show?
She does. That's, I think, what we all do. We want somewhere that's that, as we hear it, it's that window.
Yeah.
But then suddenly, well, I want to sell this and I want to do that. And so it's actually knowing, I think you also, you're knowing that long-term journey of where you want to go. But as you so rightly said, you don't probably need it all straight away. But it's knowing that what you've got has got the capability to take you where you need to be at the end. Whereas most of us, or I can name myself here, I bought something that didn't do what I needed to do at the end. And that's I think, that's where we get caught out, let's say.
Yeah, and that comes down to this ability to have the scalability. So where I would say, you know, WordPress is the best solution, people go, but I don't need a WordPress website yet. It's like, well, you might not. However, if you go for one of these page builders like GoDaddy, that's like living in a block of flats where it serves its purpose, but you're sharing communal areas. You've got to share the lift. If the lift breaks down, you've got to use the stairs. You can't extend your flat. There's a lot of limitations. Whereas a WordPress website is buying a plot of land, building a house on it, and being able to extend it in the future.
Love that. Such a good analogy, Natalie. Well done.
So yes, you know, you might not be able to afford a particularly big house at this stage. You might just put a shed on it, but you have that scalability. You never have to think about moving again. And I think that's probably why you can have a small WordPress website, you can have a big, but it's all going to be there for you for when you are ready. So yes, Mia.
I'm just going to reiterate what you were just saying there. That's exactly why I went for a WordPress site, because I could have gone for the cheaper options. But you're right that obviously this is your field. But by having a WordPress site, even though it's limited because it's just me doing it, I know that when I do say I want to have somebody come in and work with this, that I'm already in the right platform, can then be scaled far more easier than trying to extract an information, because also some of these other cheaper sites you can't actually get the information off it. So you've done all that work, and then you find that you're completely stuffed. So you know, and that's where you know your knowledge is invaluable, really. Yeah,
good. That's great to hear. Fantastic. So hi Selena, sorry, we've nearly finished.
I know, I'm sorry, I just saw your message and I just went, quickly jump on.
Yeah, no problem at all. So what I was going to do now is I was just going to sort of talk about a little bit briefly, going over a little bit, so if people do need to go, but just sort of how I work and how I approach this. So ultimately, the businesses I work with are looking for a website that can be visible, can generate inquiries, can bring them more business. And in order for that to happen, there's three core areas. One of those areas is the tech, so the platform you're on, where your domains are, you know, all the stuff we've talked about in terms of security and backups and stuff like that. And that is where I meet a lot of people, which is why this session was needed, because it's literally holding them back. There's this wall of tech that they can't get past for all the reasons we've talked about, and they need somebody like me to come in and save the day, as it were. The other part is the content. So you might have worked on the content, you might have done some of this already, but something's not quite working, there's still a disconnect. Maybe the site isn't that visible, or maybe the content isn't relatable, or whatever. And so, that's the bit then that we need to work on to get that sorted. And then the final piece is the search itself. So whether that's SEO, which is the long-term gain, or whether it's ads in the short term, or whatever it is, ultimately it's making your site discoverable, visible and searchable, so that it's working in your favor even when you're not working. It's a digital representation of you online all the time, 24/7, which, when it's set up properly and the journey is good, and then it really is an investment that you're benefiting from. The way I do that is I rescue a lot of websites, put my superwoman cloak on and swoop down and get it all sorted. We're doing that for you at the moment, aren't we, Ian? And then the sort of strategy piece, that is the bit where it's like really kind of slowing down, sorting out the messaging, sorting out what content you already have, because often you've got a load of wealth of content that is absolutely brilliant, and I don't want you to waste that. I want you to maximize on that, but it just needs a bit of reordering. It needs a bit of structure. It needs keyword research around it, and having a bit of a plan of action of what to prioritize first. And then the final piece then is, the search marketing support, which takes longer. So, I've got a way of working with you, as I sort of mentioned earlier, that's affordable and accessible, but you do need to be spending time creating new blogs, testing and measuring and seeing what's working, and then kind of talking about it with me and others in my community, and kind of going, right, what does this mean? What can I do next? And so forth. Yeah, so I've just done those three. Where are you stuck? Tech and website. Sorry about all the animations. I need to take them off. Yeah, so those sort of three areas that are often the issues, and then the support that I can give around that. And then just very quickly, I have sort of a method really, where we'll start off with getting that text stabilized, which might be a quick process. In some cases it is, but then it's a case of, right, now let's slow down, let's do a bit of strategy, let's organize things, let's optimize your content, and then systemizing, which is where you've got to test it, and that's why it's like a figure of 8, because it's an ongoing thing, but it's knowing how to feed it back in, etc. And then the final piece is personalizing it. So a digital marketing process is huge, but you won't need all of that. I'm able to come in and guide you and go, right, this is the focus, this is what you need to do. Let's get all of that aligned and accelerated and fixed. And then I can help you with the blogging and the ongoing stuff. And as I say, really personalizing that experience. Oh, right. So that's pretty much me done. I'm going to share some links with you that I promised. But, I'd love to know, I know you've not been here long, Selena, but if anything has resonated with you, or hopefully you watch the replay, then do share just something in the chat that you would say you can take away from today that's been helpful. It just gives me a little bit of feedback, really. And while you do that, I'll pop some links in. SEO. Alsop dict. Right, so what have we got here? Mia, you've made me feel more confident about using your services. Oh, that's good. Good, I'm pleased to hear that. Thank you. Selena, having a united strategy, do things in the right order and test. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all testing. This is the thing in business, you know, and I say this every week. If I knew the absolute silver bullet for each of you, I wouldn't be here now. I'd be on a beach in the Seychelles. So, you know, we have to test it. We have to try it, but at least you're testing it with more confidence because you're using tactics and things that I know work. It's not like coaching where you go, well, go and figure that out for yourself. It's like, this is what works. This is what you need to do. Jacqueline, your great analogy about page builder sites and proper sites. Excellent. Yeah, it's good. It's good, isn't it? It just so works. Yeah. Selena, clarity on the role of tech in an overall strategy. Yeah, good. That's great. Ian, always use someone who understands what you need, can provide it, and most importantly, is available to actually talk through any problems. Yes. Yeah, because you've definitely been burnt in that respect, Ian. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming along today and taking part. It's a topic that I do love delivering because, as I say, I hate seeing you all in pain, and I'd much rather, you know, even if it is like you say with your friend Jacqueline, even if it is just like a short session, if I can actually get her on the right track, that can save a lot of heartache further down the line. And then, you know, it might be that later on she is ready to sort of work with me, but that's a much better solution than.
Yeah, I think for me to try and explain to her what you've explained today, because she has been burnt before, I think that'll be worth me introducing you to her.
Yeah, okay. And as I say, feel free to share the recording if that might help her. Brilliant. Okay, well, you've got all the links, so if you want to book a call or anything, do go ahead and do that. And other than that, thank you and hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.